Paleo, Keto, South Beach, Zone, Atkins, Mediterranean. These are just some of the popular and heavily publicized diet plans that promise better health and a slimmer waistline if you only do what they say and maybe buy something. Do fad diets work? Do they reduce your weight or improve your health? Hello, and welcome to House Calls. I'm Dr. Eduardo Sanchez, Chief Medical Officer for Prevention at the American Heart Association. It's a fact. The COVID-19 pandemic put the pounds on, and that's on top of the weight issues that people living in the United States were already facing pre-pandemic. So people are looking for ways to lose weight. A multi-billion-dollar industry has lots of ideas about how, but they're not always reliable or even healthy ones. Even when fad diets seem to make sense, for example, by focusing on reducing calories, research shows the results can be counterproductive. Eating fewer calories can actually stimulate appetite and make people crave high-calorie foods. Some fads cut out entire food groups such as wheat, gluten, or dairy, which contain nutrients needed for good health. Some telltale signs can alert you to whether you're being pitched a fad diet. Quick and easy promises, unsupported scientific sounding claims, celebrity endorsements, buy something. Remember the old saying about things that seem too good to be true? Dr. Charlotte Markey is a specialist in body image and eating behaviors. We shouldn't assume a diet plan is healthy just because it's popular or gets played up in the media. So I've got some questions for you, Dr. Markey. How can somebody looking for help with their weight distinguish between what's popular and what works from a science-based perspective?
Well, first, thanks for having me. And it's really difficult. There's a lot of information about weight loss because a lot of people want to lose weight. But there are many forces working against us losing weight, from genetic to psychological. So a lot of the information that we're going to see in the media, maybe even from some medical professionals, is really inaccurate. Weight loss is difficult. Any health behavior change is difficult. This doesn't mean that it's impossible, but we can talk about some phrases to look for in terms of whether or not something might actually be evidence-based.
Many popular diet plans aren't about balance. They emphasize drastically reducing food groups or increasing others. Based on your experience, does that produce long-term sustainable success?
No. If a person wants to change any behavior to improve their health, they really need to think long-term. Most of this marketing surrounding dieting plays into cognitive distortions that psychologists are well aware that people have anyways. So we tend to gravitate towards really all or nothing, sort of black and white thinking. That helps us simplify the world. It makes us feel like the world is a much more understandable, simple place than it really is. But when it comes to something like weight loss, we really have to think in terms of nuance and in terms of what could work for us. What is going to work for your friend, your neighbor, your partner is very unlikely to also work for you. You need to think about the long term, and you only should make changes to any health behavior that you really think you can sustain in a very flexible way. Let's say you want to try to drink soda less. Then you want to think about, okay, how can I shift that behavior? How can I maybe buy less soda? What am I going to buy instead? How about as a treat? Sometimes I have soda and I don't worry about that still, right? So sort of put the pieces in place to make it possible to change these individual behaviors, and then flexibly allow yourself to still enjoy sometimes food or beverages that you really like, because completely going black or white about any food or food group is incredibly unlikely to work.
You know, fad diets are big business. They're heavily promoted in popular media and online, and people swear by them. People on fad diets tend to get their information online, think they know more than they do, and they say they do their own research. How do you suggest people steer clear of fad diets?
Oh, fad diets are tempting, and they're tempting for a reason. The marketing is great, and the testimonials are compelling. But almost all of that research and the testimonials that you're going to see that are part of advertising are not complete, because what you're seeing is short-term success on a plan typically that is only going to work for the short term. So when we look at the scientific evidence, what we see is that people who lose weight almost always have gained it back within about 2 years. That's not a successful diet. That's not a successful behavior change or lifestyle intervention if it's something that fluctuates every 2 years. In fact, we know that can actually be really damaging to both our metabolism and our mental health. So we don't want to get in that diet cycling trap. What we want to do is really pay attention to the language, the terminology used in marketing. If you ever hear something like results will be fast and easy to achieve, that's a red flag. That's not how this really works. If you ever hear it works for everybody, that's also a red flag, because all of our bodies are different. What appeals to us in terms of what we want to eat, what we can sustainably eat, or habits that we'll maintain over time is just not going to be the same from person to person. If there's ever any part of that advertising that includes just buy whatever, that also can be a red flag. Most of what we need to do to change our health behaviors does not require supplements or diet aids of any kind. Anytime you hear something about cleansing or eating clean or detoxing, this should also be a red flag, because we do not need to cleanse our bodies or detox our bodies. We have a liver, we have kidneys, and our bodies do this naturally. It's actually pretty amazing, I think. So we don't need products or plans to achieve those goals. If we ever see something that says that it's quote unquote clinically proven, or that a product contains a proprietary blend or recipe, these are also terms to look out for. It's really pseudoscientific language, and we want to avoid those sorts of plans and information.
Are there effective ways to improve any eating pattern, including a fad diet?
I think the best thing to do is really to work with someone who's a specialist and who has, skills either as a psychologist or a registered dietitian, helping people to change habits. There are professionals available out there. I recommend you find someone who focuses on an intuitive eating or health at every size approach, because this isn't just about weight, it's about health. And those are not the same thing, right? Being a certain weight does not guarantee you health, but it is important to take care of our bodies and to develop healthy habits, which includes eating nutritionally at least some of the time or often. So I think that finding professional help can be important, but not from fad diets. And I also think that getting to know your own habits can be really important, and being honest with yourself. If you are in habits that you don't like or you think are unhealthy, then again, you want to strategize. How do you change even one habit at a time? Even if it's whatever beverage you have with dinner or what you're eating for breakfast. Just work on little steps, and it's not fast, it's not sexy, but that's how you can actually improve your health.
Thank you so much for joining us, Professor Markey. We appreciate your insights. Approach fad diets with a grain of salt, so to speak. Eating healthy isn't about quick fixes or all or nothing solutions. It's about establishing a balanced eating pattern and managing your weight successfully over the long term based on the best science. In our next house calls, we'll discuss the common elements of a healthy eating pattern and how well some popular diet plans stack up. If you have questions about health conditions, I would love to hear from you. Comment below, hit subscribe, and join me here next time for answers you can trust.